from vacation. I feel like I've been on vacation all summer. Been going to the beach a lot and goofing off on the vlog. Sorry about that. But now that the fall weather is returned and we're heading into the new fall season, I'll try to broadcast more often. And I told you last time I'm going to try to have interesting guests. Well, I have an interesting guest today. I have Dr. Spike.
Hello.
In relation to Dr. Spock, but he is kind of a prominent researcher in the area of retirement analysis and portfolio analysis. We're not going to talk too much about that, but we might just say something about it. We're going to look at the usual charts, the Dow, the S&P. We're going to add one more, the VIX. The VIX 2 times or 3 times, I'm not sure what it is, VIXY. We're going to look at that. And we're going to look at CVM and CGC. And that should be enough.
And not Google, despite my shirt.
How do you hear me? You hear me fine, Dr. Spike?
I certainly do.
All right. Dr. Spike is also from Long Island, New York.
Yeah.
And I might say, just like I always say to you guys, that you should do your own due diligence. My opinions are strictly my own and do not constitute investment advice. That goes for Dr. Spike as well. Do not take anything he says as investment advice or advice in any way. Hey, Greg, I see you're online. I hope you had a very, very good week. And Cherry Trade, hello to you. Yeah, Greg has been a very loyal listener and
good to have you, Greg.
Blog, and he's got a couple of rooms on stock twits that he manages, and he's been leaving links like crazy, making me get more and more followers. So I can't thank you enough, Greg. Cabinet guy is from the what do you call it? Vermont, the Green Mountain State. Anyway, it's really lovely up there. I love it in Vermont. It's chilly in Vermont. Well, it's chilly in Long Island, New York, relatively speaking. Did you get to take your jog, Greg, today? Did you get in your workout? So we have Greg from Long Island, we have Dr. Spike from Long Island, and Dr. J from Long Island. We need some Texas folks.
Maybe we should just meet at a restaurant.
Maybe. Cherry Trade, where are you from? Cherry Trade is kind of new to the vlog. Allison, how you doing, Allie? Allison's into this WKHS. Is that the symbol, Allison? And JD from where? From where are you from, JD? Tell the world. JD is live from Dallas, Texas. Right? You're from Dallas, and JD invited me to one of his barbecues, right, JD? Anytime, right? You told me anytime. And we have Dustin Bailey from Indiana. Indiana wants me. It's something like that.
Yeah, but you can't go back there.
Can't go back there. Yeah, well, that's good because I've never been there, I don't think. You've been to Indiana, Dr. Spike?
I have not.
Not.
Going back to Indiana from the Jackson 5 is one of my favorites.
I know the Hoosiers. The Hoosiers are the great basketball team, right? Mm-hmm. They're damn good. They made it to. I think they won the NCAA championship a couple of times. Very good basketball team, and we have other sports from Indiana, right? What else? That's Dr. Pete's hometown, right? Not Dr. Pete. What's his name? Mayor Pete. Mayor Pete's hometown. big barbecue dinners on JD. Are you going to be doing the barbecuing, JD, or we're going to go to some restaurant for the barbecue? Allison from Westchester County, New York. That's not far.
New York.
Westchester County, beautiful Westchester County, the home of Hillary Clinton. And we have Martin Gendron from beautiful Montreal, Canada. Hey, Martin. How you doing up in Canada? I know the Expos left. They didn't like it there too much.
Yeah, they went to Washington out of the.
Yeah, now they're a powerhouse team, and sorry about that. I mean, they couldn't win it for you when they were in Montreal, right? And they had some good teams. They just couldn't put it together. The last manager was Felipe Alou, and he was terrific.
Oh boy!
Oh, what a ball player he was! I think there were three of them.
Yep.
Felipe, Mate, and Jesus. That's it. Jesus. All right, we have another baseball aficionado on here with Dr. Spike. Yeah. Dr. Spike's main expertise is not baseball, it's retirement planning. If anybody has a retirement planning question before we look at the charts, ask it.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
A lot of controversy these days on the whole.
Yeah, how do you take retirement? No, really, Dr. Spike, how do you go into retirement when you know you can't get more than 2% on fixed income 30 years out?
You have to make sure that you plan on spending principal.
Oh, I guess that's it. You got to plan.
The whole idea is try to make the principal last as long as you could. Because we're not talking about this kind of thing where you could just live off the interest and the money and the principal will just stay.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It's for the trust fund babies.
I mean, you used to be able to get
people like me.
It used to be able. The old days, you could get 4% fixed, right? And you live on 4%.
And if you have a big enough nest egg, you could just live off of that.
Yeah, you wouldn't touch your principal, right?
Exactly, and then the rest go to your kids.
Yeah. Now it's been really tough on retirees, and I'm a retiree. But am I going to be poor when I'm 90?
Well, your children won't be as rich. The statistics though show that people do die with money, that they don't die broke.
All right.
So that's the good news.
JD, Dr. Spike, turn up your sound.
Okay. Oh, okay. Then what I'll do is I'll move this a little bit closer. Does that help?
Yeah, that helps a lot.
Okay. Well, it'll show that I didn't share that.
I'm sure people are interested in retirement, even if it's 20 years down the road. Intruder. I had to open the window. I'm dying of heat, so I opened the window. And as soon as I opened the window,
it's the safety of Long Island.
I'm getting robbed. I hope my wife is around to shut it off. All right, she's around to put it on. I guess she's around to shut it off. Sorry about that.
From you opening the window, I see.
Oh. Yeah, I opened the window and that caused intruder. Long Island, New York.
That's why I'm down in the basement. I'm an intruder in my own house also.
I'm a Brooklyn boy. I never even locked his apartment. I never had a key. The door was always open. It was totally safe. Now you got to lock up and get sirens and guns, and I don't get it.
Not guns.
Not guns. Yeah, but
paint like the Chinese.
I think it's getting easier and easier to get a gun, but even if you're not in Texas,
right?
I think JD has some guns. JD, you got a few guns? I'd like you to borrow one. Not really.
No,
because it's too dangerous. There's accidents. It's no good. All right. Anyway, I think better is a dog with a loud bark, or a siren that says intruder, and scares away the intruder. So we're going to get to the charts.
Might as well.
Let's get to the charts. Otherwise, we're going to talk all night and change the name of the show to Dr. J and Dr. Spike bullshitting.
Yes, indeed.
All
Right. So if there are anything, if anybody has any points about retirement,
right. Retirement, they will ask it. And if you want to go to YouTube, you could see the questions live, even though I'm going to do share screen in a second.
Okay.
Let me do share screen. All right. But you can still see, we're not going to be able to see the comments, the chat comments, when I do the share screen. Lost them all in the flood. Oh, okay.
Wow.
Let's see.
I didn't know guns could drown.
Guns could drown. They could get ruined. I like bows and bow and arrows. Did you ever shoot a bow and arrow?
I have not.
Oh, I have. It's really, really fun. And nowadays they got it lined up with these heavy bows. You cannot miss the target. It's like automatic. You feel good hitting the bullseye.
Those scenes in Games of Thrones.
The only problem is
turn me off.
I'm losing muscle strength, and I can't seem to pull the I can't get the 40 pounds that you need to pull the. Yeah, so I'm becoming an old man quicker than I'd like. All right. Anyway.
Well, luckily, you don't need to do that to get your food.
Yeah, true. I can just go to the store and buy it. All right. So what I have here is a replica. I tried to do a replica on the S&P of a chart that I saw on what do you call it? Fast Money, I think it's called, the CNBC show.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a guru that said there was a ascending wedge that ended around here that broke down, and therefore it was a dangerous situation, along with what do you call it? A megaphone formation, which I didn't draw in. I thought I drew it in, but the megaphone would be, let's see if I can visualize it, going up and then going down. So you have a megaphone, a line going down. Here it is.
Yeah, you have it.
Yeah, this is a line going down. This is a line going up. So if you visualize that, we have a widening range, which is also sometimes called a megaphone. The guy on Fast Money did not start it in a single point. He got a slightly different picture because of that. But I like starting anything like this in a single point, so I modified his picture a little bit. So his claim is that this rising wedge verifies his megaphone pattern, and that the whole market's going to go crasharooski, maybe. Of course, he said maybe because did you ever hear a gurus not put a hedge into their forecast?
I have not.
They always say provided this or provided that. So I've learned to say provided this or provided that. So the point is, I don't think there's anything to worry about as long as this bottom trend line is not violated. And it sure don't look like it's going to be violated. Yeah, this rising wedge was an accurate predictor of trouble, and we had the trouble. Right. Fine. So he was right about the rising wedge, right? But I don't think he'll be right about the megaphone pattern. I don't think this verifies it. So that's where I stand. I stand right now saying, look, we crossed the 50 on Thursday, and we did that in all the indices. Maybe not the Russell. I don't know about the Russell, but we certainly did it in the NASDAQ, the S&P, and the Dow. So 3 out of 4 ain't bad. We passed the 50. The 50 is above the 100. The 100's above the 200. And the price is trading above the 50. And we have a series of higher highs and higher lows. Everything is as it should be to indicate we're in a bull market now. So the bear is dead. The bottom put in on August 5th, a double bottom added on August 15th, and if you like, a retest or a triple bottom on 8/23. So this low has been tested not once but twice. We now have a wall of support at the low of 8.5, which is two. I can't read that. A 2.8. My vision is sometimes sucky. It gets blurry eyed. Anyway, we have a triple bottom right about here.
It looks like the support line is definitely holding very, very well. The one right.
Yes, 28.22. Maybe I should draw it in a horizontal line. Horizontal line. A horizontal line. Where are you, horizontal line? Oh, there you are. Let's see if the horizontal is working. Remember the old TVs?
Horizontal hold.
Yeah, you have to have the horizontal and the vertical lined up properly.
All right. So now that bottom line is that the 200?
Yeah, but this is the 200 right here.
Yeah. So
notice it has not hit the 200. It's hit what is this line? This line is a 200. Here we have the 50. Right. And where's the 100? No, this is the 50, and this is the 100. Yeah. And this is the 200. And this is just a number.
Oh, okay, that one down there, yeah. That looks like it's really, it looks like if we're saying
about... That's the line I just drew, my horizontal line.
Oh, okay, is that your horizontal line? Okay, perfect.
Yeah, 28.22. That's right. Support.
It seems like as long as you're not falling close to that number, you can be pretty confident that things are going to stay somewhat happy. And if it's not a trading range, that's actually looking like it may even go up.
Yeah, I mean, if it pulls back to, let's say, 28.50, it looks like an entry point to me.
Right.
But who knows? I mean, right now it looks.
We'd have other indicators to say whether or not that's just a breakthrough past.
Well, but right now, doesn't it look like nothing stopping it from making an all-time high? It looks mighty good.
Indeed.
I mean, I know we're spiraling up a little bit, which is scary, but I think we could spiral up a bit more. Make a new all-time high, pull back a little, maybe back to the 50 for support, then back up again. I mean, the markets never go straight up. They never go straight down. That's one thing we learned. Let's take a quick look at the Dow. We can't spend too much on any one chart.
If I were to see this increase hold for a couple more days, it seems to me, especially because that bottom is so I'm going to use the word noisy, that there's a lot of stuff happening there that for a while we're in a bit of a trading range. But it looks like we're breaking out of that trading range. So if we see that kind of movement up and out, that would let me believe that that's something that we could hold on to, not something that's just a temporary top, but something that we can actually break through. And you're right.
I agree. If anything looks like a breakout, this sure does.
Indeed.
All right, let's take a look.
It'll be a breakout unless it's not.
It's a breakout unless it's not. What are you taking lessons from the fast money dude? All right. This is the Dow. And what's remarkable about the Dow, look where it stopped on 8/15. Exactly at the 38.2 retrace fib number. We have another fib number on the June 3rd lows of 50% from the December lows. So this is like crazy with the fib numbers all over the place. But what a perfect place for the Dow to have stopped. So I mean, and then it's got tremendous support at the 200. I'd like to see it hold the 50, but if it doesn't, I want to see it hold 100. If it goes below the 100, then probably it'll test the 200 again, which I'd rather not see.
Right. Well, then we'll know that we're really in just a trading range, and then we
Yeah,
can
then all we are is in a trading range. That's right.
and just
I
buy the
agree.
bottom,
Maybe this will settle the debate.
buy at the top and sell on the bottom.
What do you think of looking at the VIX 2 times, whatever it is? I
Yeah,
think
I mean,
that's
the whole idea is that if you really do think that the market's going down, I always like the VIX because then it's essentially it's not really a volatility play; it's a short on the market. And when you look
right,
at the chart as it comes up, you're going to see it's practically a mirror image
right,
of the S&P and of the Dow. And
right.
so
So
whatever information you might have gathered,
what you're saying is when the VIX goes up, it's a bearish indicator, and when it goes down, it's a bullish indicator.
right? I mean, like, I've been whining that it's not really about volatility at all. It's really just a short on the market. But
Right,
when you actually see volatility like we're seeing now, that there really isn't a straight out play to just make money off of volatility.
right.
Essentially, you even have to straddle with the VIX. So you have to buy it when it's low and sell it when it's high. And so
So
say
what do you
something
think?
or
Does
maintain.
this chart, Dr. Spike, does this chart corroborate our bullish view or not?
Well, it certainly does because, like we said, it almost looks like a mirror image of the other one. It provides a slight bit more information because it does load volatility in there, so it's not supposed to be as pronounced. But it would seem to me just if you were looking at what we saw on the other chart, and you would think that the chart you were ambivalent about what you saw in the chart, then you could just see if the opposite holds here. And so on first glimpse, it almost looks like you'd want to sell this, right? Especially looking at those last couple of blips towards the end, that looks like it's really
Dr. Spike, are you saying short the VIX Y?
no, not short, not necessarily short the VIX. This means buy the market. If your indicators say short the VIX, which is this is what it's saying, then that says buy the market. And
Okay,
if you see something saying short the market and you're not one to like shorts, instead of shorting the market, buy the VIX.
okay.
This is what regular people do when they don't have hedge funds that allow them to, or they don't have positions that allow them to take real shorts.
I got you. Before I go on to CBM and CGC, let's go back, stop sharing screen, look if anybody has any retirement questions for Dr.
Okay, sure.
Spike. So I'm going to go back to that. I stopped sharing screen. And let's see, anybody have any retirement questions? Going once,
Okay.
going twice. Greg, NASDAQ has been up quite a bit, but no such IBB. The IBB, of course, is a biotechnology index, and that's been sucky. Yeah, that's been a big laggard.
Yep.
My thesis is, Greg, and you've heard me say it, that before this bull market is over, you're going to get a big rally in biotech and the rut. They're going to play catch up. That's my feelings. Do I have technical indicators to support my feelings? Not specifically, unless I look at long-term charts. Very long-term charts indicate to me, like 20-year charts, that the rut has traditionally outperformed the other indices. So my feeling is, call it a gut feeling, that the VIX, that the rut, the IWM will catch up to the SPY and the QQQ and the DIA and be the star performer before the bull dies. What do you think of that?
Not only that, but I would even think that that the bull might die, and you'll still have a little upswing in those two because they are such lagging indicators. That I always when they say things are going bad, always buy a bar, or that you can never lose money because when things are good, people want to drink, and when things are bad, people want to drink. And
Right.
so it seems to me that that these bio stocks also have that same kind of behavior that even when things turn bad, they're not going to turn bad so quickly. I mean, I know they've been sort of a dead duck, but I would see that as sort of a lagger, and so you probably get a week or two more out of those guys than the regular market.
Right. I mean, it's time for the large caps to yield to the small caps. That's how I look at it. The small caps have been terrible compared to the huge multi-billion dollar plays, the Apples, the high tech, the 3Ms, and so on. So I think give the large caps a little bit of a rest. I'm not saying don't play Apple, don't play Amazon. I love them both, but I think the small caps, in particular the IWM index, is a nice way to play it. Will be a good move at some point in time, whether it's tomorrow, the next month, or 3 months from now. I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, just in general, somewhere down the road, I'm seeing that the stock pickers, the people who actually do their due diligence in picking good stocks, are going to get rewarded.
Sure.
So if we're entering these industries, that kind of stuff still has a lot of reward left. It seems to me. I mean, personally, I don't like going into the fangs because they're way too expensive. Although, look, I've been saying that since 1989, and I've been getting my butt kicked for the
Well,
last
no,
10 years. So.
you were right in 2008.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I was right. I was right for well. Even a broken clock is right once in a while. But anyway, but in terms of the idea of this still being a stock pickers market, and there's still a lot of stuff available to people who pick stocks correctly, especially in those kinds of those industries.
Right. I'm going to come back to CGC and CVM real quick,
I
and
mean,
then we'll look.
if you go down to any these days here, all I've been hearing is people say, yeah, if you have a strong dividend return, you should be very, very happy with that, and that'll still be something that people are looking for, especially with these rates just contracting so much.
Right. SDY, the dividend play, the spider dividends, high dividend, high yield, whatever you call it.
Hmm.
I think the last 5 years has returned over 10%. That ain't bad.
Uh, Believe me, I
But
don't
I
take.
think I'm not sure that it outperformed the SPY. I think it did not actually. Close, but I don't think it outperformed it.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is, you didn't take as big a ride with it, and so
Right, and the volatility was much less great. The what do you call it? The dips from top to bottom. It was much less on the SPY.
yeah, I mean,
Uh,
some people
the
don't like it.
volatility.
They're
Yeah, I
hard
mean,
time, they're hard time
like,
trusting roller coasters all the time.
right. All right. So what am I doing? CGC. Let's
Yeah,
do CGC, and then CVM, and we're done. CGC Canopy Growth had a very nice run, and it's continuing. Last week, JD congratulated me on how much money I'm making with CGC, which is not quite true. Why did that come up? I don't know. I don't know how to type.
yeah.
I'm
Well,
hoping
you got us thinking
I'm,
about
hope,
gold anyway.
I'm hoping that this is the same screen people are seeing
I want to ask your
in
opinion on that. Do you think gold is going to have some sort of long term hold, or is this just a shot?
gold. I don't understand gold. Follower who's sensational caller on gold, vibrant vixen. She's just not. I don't think watching live, but we chat all the time, and she's making tons of money on the metals, silver and gold.
Yeah,
But
it's
how
been,
much
it's
is
been nice
left?
just lately.
Personally, never liked gold. I never felt comfortable being in gold. I know you're supposed to get comfort from being in gold. It's supposed to be a contrary play, but I just never personally. I don't see it unless you're willing. Maybe I look at it this way: if you're in gold, you're not going to lose as much in a very doomsday scenario, but you're still going to lose. That's how I look at it. I could be wrong. What
No,
do
I
I
mean,
know?
something tells me that we have a nice little run up based on a lot of the volatility in the market and the volatility in the government, And if you expect that kind of environment to hold, then gold will still be a nice play. But if you think things are going to be calming down a little bit, it might be time to sort of assess that.
I
Again,
the way I look the way I look at
I
gold,
think we
the
still got
way I
a
look
while
at
left.
gold, the way I look at gold is kind of the way I look at the VIX. I'd rather be shorting it than going long because what's going on? Uh, it's not loading. Let me try again.
Okay.
CGC. CGC. There it is. Am I not in Yahoo Finance? Yeah, I'm not in Yahoo Finance. That's the problem. So I got to get into Yahoo Finance before I type it in. I was just in Yahoo search, you know what I mean?
Mm.
I'm getting all kinds of funny results. I probably could have just clicked it from my recently viewed list and saved myself some aggravation. CGC, canopy growth. It continued to run from last week. Last week it ran back to 25, which was a key level, and crossed it this week, which is very, very bullish. Uh, Even without looking at the chart, I can say that I'm very bullish. I bought some more when it crossed to 25 and pulled back to the low 24s. So I added in the 24s. I'm looking for it to fill the gap at about 31 before I get rid of anything. In fact, if anything, I'm going to be adding rather than selling, I believe. I'll probably add on any dips. So you have this nice rounded bottom here. I love this. I love this pattern. And we've been doing nothing but going up. And 25 was an old low, key low that we took out on the downside. We went as low as 22.76 and stabilized there and turned up above that 25. I remember when I told you back here when it was even earlier this was a key level for me, the 33 level. I felt even higher, this level, the 38 level. I knew once it went below that there was a good chance it would hit 25. I vlogged that. I actually said that in a vlog going back at around that date of 7.3. So I called the 25 pullback, the pullback to 25. I whispered it. I said it could even, if it goes below 38, it could even get to 25. I didn't want to say it too loud because I didn't want to encourage it because I had a large position in it. But fortunately, on this particular day, on 7/11, Yo 11, I sold most of my CGC because I felt uncomfortable. I felt comfortable enough to buy back when it pulled back to the 24 level. I guess it was on the 3rd of September. So I added back, not as much as I should have, but I added back some. And look at this gap, Dr. Spike. It looks ripe to be filled at 31.29. So the way I look at it,
It'll probably play over there for quite a while, and then
yeah, it might take a
and then
while.
again, the indicators can tell you whether or not it's going to go back into that prior range.
Yeah, it's gotta take out the high of the day over here,
Right.
29.62. If it takes that out, I think it's a big favorite to fill the gap. So
For a couple dollars, I mean, it'll
29.62.
still be worth putting in there, even now. I mean, I know you might have missed out on a slight bump, but
Yeah, I mean,
it looks like it's still got a lot of room.
yeah, I mean, if it does fill the gap, there's no reason why it doesn't test the 34 level.
Yeah, there's a lot of action on that line.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's a very, very volatile stock. I mean, it ran from $2 all the way up to what, 52 or even higher, I think. So it's a very volatile stock. Pot has had a tremendous run. It's no wonder that it's going to give back some.
Yeah.
What I like about Canopy Growth is a big investment that STZ, Standard Brands, took in Canopy. I think it's 35% owned by them. And they're the ones that put out, what's their product? It's one of the beers, I think. I'm not sure. But they own a lot of different products. They're a conglomerate and they're big. They sell for over $200 a share now. And the other one I like is Kronos, Cronos, because they're 45% owned by Philip Morris, MO. So I like them for those reasons, basically. There's about four major pot producers: Canopy Growth, Kronos, Aurora, ACB, and they're considered to be the largest. And the fourth one, Tilray, TLRY. I bought some Tilray recently at a very low price and watched it bounce back nicely. So I can't complain about the pot stock lately. I was complaining a week or two ago, though. So
Yeah,
things can change in a week or
I
two.
can't complain that you missed the boat because the boat
Yeah, that's all I could complain, right?
came back for you,
I should have bought more. I should have bought more, right?
right? So
That's what I can complain about. You can always find something to complain about, right?
I always
I know. I'm getting summoned here.
mm,
Family obligations. But I'm going to continue for another 2 minutes until I chart CVM, and
right.
then we'll call it a night. You know what?
Really
Let's not bother.
enjoying this stuff.
Yeah, let me buy is a tremendous buy in my opinion. Check my previous videos. My feelings haven't changed. So let's get back to our split screen. If someone has a question for Dr. Spike, we'll take it. Otherwise, we'll call it a night. And again, I'm very on cell size, CVM. They're due to get data readout any day now for head and neck cancer, over 900 patients in the study. Study began in 2011. They're looking at a 3-year wait to see how many events occur in three years after the ending the treatment. It's an immunotherapy drug, and so far, the 298 events have not occurred, and they should have by now. So I think it's going to meet its primary endpoint of extending life. If it meets its primary endpoint, it's got to meet its secondary and tertiary endpoints.
Yeah.
So I think it needs to do more than meet its primary. I think that's almost a given. It ran from like $2 to $7.50, actually to $9. So it's got to do more than just meet its primary endpoint. It's got to improve quality of life, and it has to shrink the tumor and so on. If it meets all three endpoints, it's going to be worth a fortune. Of course, if is a big word. All right, last call for last chance for romance, right? No questions.
Okay.
Thank you very much for being on with me tonight, Dr. Spike.
It was a pleasure.
Come back anytime. And, I enjoyed doing this vlog with you. And I hope you had fun.
I did.
Yeah, okay. Good night to everybody that posted.
I didn't thank you.
Yeah, Martin is still talking about the expos. Yeah.
Well,
okay. They almost did it in '94, he points out, but it was a shortened strike season. Do you recall that?
94?
I think I do. Yeah, I think they were in first place. All right,
Yeah.
guys. Good night, all. I want to say shalom, sayonara, au revoir, ciao.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Okay, done. So we. You said design.